Right, I know what you're thinking. Living in Melbourne for less than $1,000 a month. You must be either on the streets, not eating, or completely insane. Well, the answer is no, no, and well, maybe. So why did I choose to live so frugally? Well, I knew I'd be leaving Melbourne to move to Canada, and I decided to tighten the old purse strings and save as much cash as I could. And today I'll give you a quick rundown on how I managed to live in Melbourne with a rental and a car for less than $1,000 a month. Naturally, the biggest cost is rent, and I really had my hands burned when I first moved to Melbourne, the most livable city in the world. Like what, 8 times on the bounce? I was paying $1,200 per month in a house share for an ensuite room. That was in Brunswick East. I had to move out, and I swore I would find a bargain. And through flatmates, I was contacted by a house share in Preston. Now, let's get this straight. It's not a trendy suburb at all, but it's really well connected to the inner northern suburbs such as Fitzroy, and also to the city where I worked by both tram and trains. And at $580 a month ensuite with the internet, this was an absolute steal, and it really built the foundations for frugal living. Utilities were super cheap as well, and that was mainly because 2 of my housemates were mature students, another one only worked part-time, and also the bills were shared 4 ways. We never had the heating on in winter, and we didn't even have the option of aircon. I used public transport every day for these 6 months, and I managed to keep it below $20 a week. I worked a day a week from home, and I got the train into the city in the morning and the tram home on a night. Now I'll tell you a little Melbourne secret. You don't always have to pay for the tram. Not that I am condoning that behaviour at all. I managed to keep my food bill down to a measly $120 per month. I shopped at Preston Market and Aldi, which are handling right next to the train stop, so if I needed to, I could just jump on the Mernda line to take it home. I shopped every week to minimise waste, and I cooked in batches, freezing lunches for work to save money there as well. I cut down on meat, and I mainly had a vegetarian diet of pulses in curries and chilies, etc. It did mean I couldn't partake in the Melbourne tradition of an avocado a day, but I did survive. The car was a luxury that I could not live without, but I managed to cut back on costs by only using it for out-of-city trips, like hiking and camping. In this 6 months where I lived really frugally, I either travelled with my girlfriend or a group of people, and we split the fuel costs. This doesn't take into account maintenance, but let's be honest, it's a Subaru Forester, an absolute tank, so nothing major ever went wrong. I sold it to my sister as well during COVID, and it's still running really well, so all's good. Regarding my mobile phone plan, I went with Aldi Mobile, and they are basically paying you to be a customer these days. At the moment, I pay $50 a month for 5GB in Canada, so for $25 for 25GB, it was an absolute steal, and it also rolls over if you can't use it. I believe they're also on the Telstra network, so the reception was always great, even out in the bush. Entertainment consisted of liberating beers from the office supply. I was lucky to work in a marketing agency in the city that always had a well-stocked fridge 24/7, so I would build up my supplies for camping trips and parties over the week. I reckon all the unpaid overtime sorted me out from a karma perspective. So there you have it, minimalistic Melbourne, living on your own 2 feet, rental and a car for $997 per month. I'm going to be honest, it's not always the most exciting by any means, but it's very doable for a short period of time. I did it for 6 months, and I saved a nice bit of cash to help set me up in Canada. If you have any questions, stick them down in the comments section below,